In order to strengthen the capacities of the next generation of thought leaders in Southern Africa, USAID Resilient Waters Program, together with the Center for Sustainability Transitions at Stellenbosch University, awarded bursaries to 11 Southern African postgraduate students. These early career researchers are conducting master's and PhD research on issues linked to enhancing the resilience of transboundary resources in the Limpopo and Okavango River Basins. Their research contributes towards the overarching goal of Resilient Waters, which sought to build more resilient and water-secure Southern African communities and ecosystems through improving management of transboundary natural resources and increasing access to safe drinking water and sanitation services. These videos introduce the students and highlight their exciting work as future change makers in Southern Africa.
Hi, my name is Victoria Shafidi. I'm a PhD student at the Center for Sustainability Transitions, CST, at Stellenbosch University, South Africa. My PhD is focusing on equitable water governance and water politics in the Cubango Okavango River Basin. It's part of a wider project called Resilient Waters, funded by USAID Southern Africa, being supervised by the PhD work is being supervised by Dr. Nadia Sitas from the CST and Professor Richard Meisner from Political Sciences at University of South Africa. The Cubango Okavango River Basin is an international water basin. It's shared between 4 countries, Angola in the upstream, Namibia in the midstream, and Botswana in the downstream, with ephemeral flows from Zimbabwe. Of course, Zimbabwe is part of the Cubango Okavango River Basin. It's not part of the formal, official OCACOM structures. I'm looking at the role of state actors and non-state actors in mediating hydropolitics in the Cubango Okavango River Basin. A lot of literature tends to be predominantly state-centric, and governance in itself in transboundary water basins tends to be state-centric, forgoing the role of non-state actors in water governance, and also local communities. Because non-state actors also include customary local communities. But before the state was a state, before the Westphalian state, there were local people living in those basins. Local people existed before the state, and they existed in a very rural setup in accordance with traditions and customary norms, what today we call customary laws. And that is still a very strong governance structure in the Cubango Okavango River Basin, the basin itself being predominantly rural. It's predominantly rural, so a lot of people are still existing in accordance with customary laws. But the state actors, the state-centric also means that we have the civil laws that came with the state being a state. And because it's an international basin, we also have to take cognizance of international law. So you have different actors, the state and non-state actors, and you have different legal systems and governance structures, your customary laws, your civil laws, your international laws, formal and informal structures. So that sometimes breeds conflict as well, because they are not always agreeing on the same resource. And so the study really tries to find out what are some of the breaking points between formal and non-formal structures of water governance on the CORB. What are some of the breaking points between state and non-state actors, and how that influences water governance in the CORB? But also, what are the linkages? What are the linkages between state actors and non-state actors, between formal and informal structures, and how do we leverage on the linkages to actually improve water governance in the basin? And all the 3 riparian countries have competing interests, because states use water differently, and that can also be a breeding ground for hydropolitics in the region, because water cuts across so many areas, so many sectors and states. It's rather impossible for for hydropolitics not to exist at all. So we have to adopt an expanded human security complex and to see how the breaking points, including legal pluralism, contributes and mediates hydropolitics in the basin. And to really get to answer the social ecological questions of who gets what water, how much of it, when do they get that water, and how. So that is basically what the study looks at. And to also just map out the narratives from local people in anticipation, because this is now a futuring workshop. A part of that includes futuring to see how do the local people anticipate governance to be, what are the desired futures that they see for themselves in terms of water governance in the basin, and to explore alternative framings of water governance. Many countries in the SADC and the CORB riparian states is not an exception. We have adopted an integrated water resources management approach, also adaptive management. So sort of but these are not panaceas to water governance ills. So at the end of the day, we also want to explore what are some of the alternative framings of water governance, to improve water governance in the basin, besides or beyond just integrated water resources management and other structures. Thank you very much.